Hi everyone, Gavin Townsend here with James Moore, top trainer and also works with a lot of footballers and main football clubs in the UK today. Currently working with Loughborough College and is highly educated and one of the best trainers I know. So I'm now doing questions and answers with James, and we're talking openly and discussing subjects that you, the general public and sports individuals are always querying about. So I'm a physique competitor. I've been doing shows for the last couple of years. I've been into aesthetics since I was a young child. 16 years on, I'm still hitting the gym hard, and I'm doing another show this year in 8 weeks' time. And just recently, openly on social media and also on forums today, there's a lot of discussion around HIIT cardio and light cardio in a fasted state. So, James, what is your scientific research and what is your personal opinion on both?
Well, scientific research behind fasted cardio, so that's doing cardio before you have something to eat, especially at low intensity, is that this burns calories from fat sort of elements based on biomolecules. So if you exercise at around about heart rate 120 to 140 BPM as a guesstimation, then your body will utilise fat cells.
So is that working at a percentage of the individual's highest heart rate?
Yeah, and everyone's completely
different.
different.
How do we calculate that then?
There's a number of ways you can calculate that. You can do a TrainSmart test where you do a VO2 max test and it uses gaseous exchange. And what that does, it finds where your peak level, your optimal level of burning fat is based on your heart rate. And then takes you way through to your VO2 max working at 90% and over to see where you're optimally burning ATP or where your fat's dropping off compared to your ATP taking over.
Yeah. And what are the other alternatives?
Other alternatives, again, using basic heart rate monitors.
Okay, so that would be more generalised for the general public.
Yeah, definitely.
So obviously the other one was more advanced, which is typically used for sports individuals and serious competitors. But in terms of the general public, what would you recommend in terms of the heart rate?
Working out your heart rate percentages would be a good start with based on your age, and then bringing it down based on the intensity of exercise.
So if you're a 40-year-old male, what would you recommend? What's the calculation?
40-year-old male, you're looking around about the 110 to 130 area. It depends on if they're physically fit or if they're a couch potato or such. The less active you are, the lower percent body fat, lower percent heart rate you tend to find is for fat burning. So I've got a friend that does his fat burn at around about 90 beats per minute. Literally, it's not even a brisk walk. It's nice and easy, standard walk, whereas mine's 136 BPM. I have to go into a bit of a light jog in order for me to optimally burn fat. So everybody's different.
And the common problem I've found is by doing the competitions and the shows, obviously I've had to build my muscle up, and I didn't want to compromise on muscle wastage versus trying to burn body fat. And I felt it's been really important to not compromise on my overall daily energy levels, because my work schedule's mental, as well as my compromise on my mental sanity as well, which I find is quite commonplace with a lot of competitors today. So personally, I found that doing light cardio in a fasted state for a longer period is actually having a better impact on my body versus doing, say, a shorter HIIT cardio session, which is obviously very interval based. Can you explain why that is, and in more of a scientific term?
Well, when you do HIIT training, your body will take around about 20 minutes of high intensity activity before it starts to deplete its glycogen stores using ATP. Because when you're working at high intensity, you use oxygen and use ATP from carbohydrates.
And for the general public, what is ATP?
Adenosine triphosphate.
Okay, so describe that in layman's terms.
What it is, pretty much, you have an ADP with 3 phosphate molecules, and when you exercise at high intensity, one of the phosphate molecules, they break off. In order for that to resynthesize, you have to take a break. Now, if these break off and you run out of glycogen completely, then your body's going to utilize sources from somewhere else. It won't use fat cells, the reason being that fat protects our organs. So it's going to use stuff on proteins, so our BCAAs, which then generates muscle breakdown. So
we'll probably talk about this on a future subject. So would you recommend low-fat diets to be healthy?
I recommend omega-3 and omega-6 diets because you can't eat fat and still burn fat. So we have to differentiate.
But cutting fat out completely, would you see that as a damaging effect?
Unsaturated fat, no. Saturated fats, you can start cutting out. You're going to need a little bit, and everyone needs a little bit of tricks. You're going insane. But unsaturated fats are okay, especially polysaturated fat, polyunsaturated fat.
So some examples, food types?
Fish, omega-3s, chicken, omega-6s, eggs, omega-6s.
Yeah.
So
Coconut oil?
Yeah, exactly. Coconut oil,
Okay, and again, we can talk about foods that perhaps help with testosterone increasements, and we'll talk about that in the future. Obviously, coconut oil and other proteins do help with that. Now, going back to the original question then, so after doing some research, have you identified that over a longer period you'll actually burn more body fat in a more sustainable level doing light cardio in a fasted state versus HIIT?
Yeah, definitely. If you say, for example, do 3 sessions of 20 minutes of HIIT training per week, you'll burn, after epoch's the afterburn effect, so after that you'll burn around about 14% continuously after the training.
For how long?
That's throughout the whole day, 24 hours.
Okay.
That equates to around about 372 kcal throughout the whole day extra.
Yeah.
Now, if you do fasted cardio, that has an epoch of 7%. So throughout the day, that's 20 calories less. If you do 175 before, you can do 155 this time round. If you do HIIT training 3 times a week for 20 minutes, then fasted cardio for 4 times a week on 45 minutes, the calories kind of they come to the same type of level. The difference is that fasted cardio, you're not going to get any injuries or overtraining syndrome.
So that's the issue I found when I did my first ever show. I cut from 17 stone and a half at the very start of the year, and I dropped down to 13.4 or thereabouts. And I'd wasted so much muscle by doing so much HIIT cardio. I went the other extreme, and I felt exhausted, fatigued, and I had lots of niggles as well. So would you say that was just generally from overusing the joints and overtraining perhaps?
Yeah, it could be a little bit of overreaching into overtraining syndrome. If it's full overtraining syndrome, it would have put you on your backside for about 2 months.
Yeah,
so
it felt like it.
Borderline onto it.
So now, onto my 4th show, after a lot of research, first-hand experience, I'm now doing 45 minutes on a fast walk on an incline, plus a bit of a light cycle. But then at the end of the day, when I do my weights, when I feel a bit more energized to do weight training, I'm doing a further 15 minutes of HIIT cardio, but between a run and a cycle. And in total, I'm getting an hour of cardio a day, but it's also helping my energy levels and it's helping with fat burning consistently. So would you, from your research, say that's a much better way to healthily lose body fat over a mid-short-term basis?
It will depend on the individual if you're going to be doing HIIT training after you do your weights, because you are in a depleted state straight away after.
Yeah. So perhaps for a physique competitor or someone who's doing bikini fitness or someone who just generally wants to shred the pounds for a holiday, that's ideal, but obviously over a longer term period it's probably not so sustainable.
Not much, no. And the reason being for that is because you are depleting your glycogen stores, and after that you're going to use proteins in more.
And that's one thing we can talk on a future video, is the idea of glycogen replenishment and also ensuring that you've got enough glycogen for training to optimise your training as well. Do you find that nutrition is key for strength training?
Most definitely. If you're a strength coach and you're running nutrition programs without having a nutrition background or even a higher nutrition qualification, then you're kind of wheeling in the wind type thing. So they come part and parcel.
So do you find there's a lot of trainers out there today who are just solely fixated on fitness and forget the nutrition side of things in pre-fueling and intra and post-recovery?
I think a lot of them have nutrition qualifications based on a level 3 standard, same as their general personal training standard. The thing is, so these qualifications are set by curriculum guidelines. Yeah. Whereas,
so they're not in depth and don't have enough first-hand experience.
They need a little bit more depth.
So to be blunt then, how many years of experience have you got, and how many degrees have you got, and qualifications have you got which are relevant to strength and conditioning and nutrition?
So a master's degree in strength conditioning, normal standard degree in sports studies, a high level advanced nutrition diploma from GB Fitness, sports nutrition diploma as well, based on sports performance as well from GB Fitness, which are higher level qualifications.
And actual experience, you're working with professional athletes, you're working with the general public, and as a trainer as well, you're always having that balance between further education and obviously ensuring that the client gets the most out of most value for their money.
Yeah.
So do you get frustrated when you see a client compromising on their health by going to a trainer who perhaps doesn't have the experience? Obviously, we're talking now more about a subject which we can talk in more detail later on. But if someone was looking to enhance their strength conditioning, to talk about subjects like we've talked today with the HIIT cardio and versus the cardio, light cardio, do you get frustrated when people kind of penny pinch a little bit, and it's like, well, I'll go for that trainer because they're £5-10 cheaper an hour. Does that frustrate you a little bit?
To a degree, but everyone's going to go and do what they need to go and do to make money. There's moral ways of doing it, and there's immoral ways of doing it.
Yeah.
I believe in giving the quality of what I do based on the price that I charge.
Of course. So this is why, guys, I listen to James, and I only personally have less than 5 people who I speak to in the fitness industry today openly about different subjects, because James doesn't look at wishy-washy ideas. He looks at the facts and the science and the research, and first-hand works with it each and every week. So this was a subject all about HIIT cardio versus light cardio in a fasted state. If you've got a question, feel free to put your question to me underneath the video on Facebook, and James and I will carry on to do health and fitness questions on a regular basis. Make sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Gavin Townsend, Facebook, Gavin Townsend, and also on Twitter and Instagram at PT Gavin Townsend. And James, what's your Facebook and what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is JWMoore1985, and Facebook currently at the moment is San Diego Moore.
He's had to change it because of work purposes. So for more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. And if you're interested in training with James or myself, or the other trainers who are coming on board, feel free to contact me through gavintownsend.com. Thanks, James.
No problem, mate.